right, Sam, are you ready to learn investing part 2?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here?
My savings and $100.
Okay, go ahead, put the $100 in your savings.
There we go.
Okay. Now, you have money in your savings right here. It is proof. Make sure the 100 is in here. Okay, looks about accurate. Go ahead, put it back in there, Sam. Now,
This is gonna take a little bit. Okay.
okay. Now, let's see if Jaya knows. But we're gonna ask a question. If you put $100 in the savings, what is it gonna be a year from now?
I think I remember.
110? Oh.
I think I remember.
$100 and 50.
What do you think, Sam?
$100.01.
Yes, from the last video we did in investing, it was $100.01. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a question, Sam. Why do we invest?
So we can get more money.
Okay, you're gonna learn a new concept today. That is just, investing is about making money, but there is another terminology I want you to remember. Okay? It's called preserving purchasing power.
Okay.
What do you think that means?
I have no idea. I don't even have a guess.
Okay. Ready to explore that?
Sure.
Okay.
Today we're going to get 3 common household items: bread, milk, and eggs.
Okay, ready to go?
Yep.
Go.
First, a dozen eggs.
Okay.
Put that in the basket. Okay. Our second item. Milk.
Okay.
Let's put this in this item. Let's wrap it up. The 4 eggs.
Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get some bread. Whole wheat to be specific.
Okay. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our 3 groceries here. We got our eggs, milk, and bread. A loaf of bread. So we have some interesting things I want to teach Sam. This is in regards to inflation. This video is going to be a mix between inflation, investing, and a lot of random little economic terminologies.
Scary.
So, look at here. An egg in 2020 is $1.51. Okay, we've done inflation before, so this shouldn't be new to you. But eggs cost $2.86 in 2022. It almost doubled. Okay.
Stupid inflation.
Again, let me see.
I hate inflation. No, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Inflation kicked in. Now, Sam, go ahead, present the milk.
The milk in 2022, I almost said 2022, in 2020 is $3.32.
Okay. And just to let you know, this is per Google, this is per various other websites. I got the average across the United States per the time period. And usually it's pinned around June of 2020 to June of 2022. So midway through the year, that's just the average. I'll have links in the description where you can see where I got some of those numbers. All right, Sam?
Now, in 2022, guys, hold up. Okay. Just pin out Milk was $4.09.
So I'm seeing about how much percentage of a change do you think that is?
Can I see it? About how much percent? Can I say like how much more it
Just
is?
guess.
Like how much it is?
So this almost was 50%. This is not as drastic, and I see this is probably like a 15 to 20%
Yeah.
increase. Not significant as the eggs. We all know the eggs went up, but
Eggs are sketchy.
now, last but not least, a loaf of bread. $1.47 in 2020. Now the average loaf is $1.77 by 2022. So we can all see that inflation has kicked in.
And I don't want to be adult.
Okay. That just happened in 2 years. Now we're seeing extreme inflation patterns simply because of, what do you think it is?
The government.
And what else?
Probably what it's called.
Okay, so the extreme inflation was due to, a lot of it pinned was to COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, during COVID restrictions, manufacturing process got more expensive. The amount of items that were shipped because of productions was closed down. Everything just kind of increased, and it was just kind of it was a huge inflationary pressure that increased the price of daily goods we see today. So that was one of it. Okay, but so what do you think so far? Tell the camera.
Scary. I do not want to be an adult.
Okay.
I'm scared.
So, in here, we had Sam's savings, right? $100. What happens if you leave it in the mattress for a year?
It'll still be the same.
It'll still be $100. So you know about supply and demand. You know about inflation. Now, we're going to teach you why we actually invest. Okay? It is called purchasing power. You know what that means?
Like purchasing something, like purchasing a lot of things.
Okay. So when we went to the dollar store.
No, purchasing expensive things. That's my guess.
Okay. So we went to the dollar store and we had $100. How much items can we buy back then? Not including tax, but back then, how much can we buy?
100 items.
And then inflation came in. Then what happened?
Now it's $1.25 for.
Then how much items can we buy?
I gotta do math. 80.
So we went from 100 items to 80.
Still a lot, though.
So that means we lost purchasing power. Purchasing power is your ability to actually buy something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So your money, basically your purchasing power is diminished simply due to inflation. So why do we invest?
To get more money for more purchasing power?
Okay. So let's just say you invest $100, right? We invest $100 and we get a 25% return. What is 100 times 25%?
100 times 25% is 125?
$125. And each item from the dollar store is $1.25. How much can you buy now?
You could buy more. I'm gonna do more math.
$1.25 divided by 125.
I've been in school, so isn't it 0.125?
He could buy 100 items. The same thing with the previous example. So guess what? Did you gain or lose purchasing power?
Gain?
No. You maintained the same purchase power. So because you invested, basically just because you got more money, it's a difference between getting more money and having purchasing power. That's why we invest, because we want to buy the same amount of things if we leave it gone for 5 years. We want to be able to buy the same amount of things in 5 years because our money grows. So sometimes it's better to look at your ability for purchasing power as opposed to the number in your account. Just because you're gaining money doesn't mean you're gaining purchase power.
Yeah, because inflation's stupid.
No, we're going to show you something nice. The average inflation rate for the last 50 years is 3.94% per Chat GPT.
Hey, I mean, it's not a lot. But it could
Basically, Chat GPT took a website, crunched the data, and they says year by year, things are increasing 3.94%.
Per year?
Yes.
Oh.
So let's just say 4% to make it easy, right? Mm-hmm. And the inflation rate is an estimate based on the average price of selected baskets of goods and services. So this is a combination of everything. The cost of food, electricity, gas, rent, entertainment. And entertainment could be a cruise. It could be going to a basketball game. It could be going to an arcade. And rent could be just rent in general. The average rent for a a 2-bedroom apartment. And the average gas per year, the electricity. So
what if you're living in a house?
Now, when it comes to inflation rate, just because it says the average is 3.94% per year, 1 year could be 6%, like during COVID, right?
Scary. Yeah.
The next year might be 1%. But they said the average. If you were to add all 50 and divide it by 50, that would be the average percentage. And another thing to also consider, just because this is the average, doesn't mean food increased by 3.94%. It could be maybe this increased 5%, but electricity only gained 2%, so they average it out to 4%, okay? So, check this out. In year 1, we'll show the camera this paper. Okay. Now we're going to talk about purchasing power.
Okay.
In year 1, you need $1,500 to purchase food, electricity, gas, rent, and entertainment for that month. In year 2, how much more money do you need to make to have the same purchasing power?
$59.
So you need to gain 59 more bucks to 1,559. Year 3, how much you need to make a month to afford the same thing?
$1,620.52.
The 4th year,
$1,684.37.
in the 5th year.
$1,750.74.
So we know that every year we have to make more money.
Yeah.
Right? For the same lifestyle, the amount increases. Let's have your income increase 3.94% a year. So if you're increasing by 3.94, you're going to afford the same lifestyle.
I'm pretty sure no one would want to live on the same lifestyle.
So the same lifestyle, it could be anything. Your chicken fries, it could be you driving gas, using the same electricity. You want to lose the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But there's some times that their raises are not keeping up with inflation. Their inflation is like this, and their raises are like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day they can afford steak and lobster, but 5 years because of inflation, they can afford only chicken fries and rice because they never got a raise in their job. So
Ramen.
Once inflation goes up, our hopes that our rate of pay goes up to cover the same lifestyle.
What if your rate of pay is like this? Like this your rate of pay and this inflation?
Then you can afford a more wealthier lifestyle.
Yippee.
Yeah? But a little sad scenario, inflation tends to outpace wages. Just saying. That might be another video.
I hate inflation.
So, if we're gonna invest this $100 to keep up with lifestyle next year, how much does it need to invest in? How much should it be next year?
Like $59.
$103.94 just to keep up with next year. If that 100 does not convert to that number, then chances are you can't afford the same thing. So why did we invest? Again?
So then we can keep up. So we have purchasing power.
So we can maintain our purchasing power and store our time worked. If this is what you make a day, you want it to be the same value as next year, since you put your time, effort, and energy. Time is worth money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next thing is investing into a house. Okay. Now, Sam, would you rather pay rent at $1,300 or a mortgage at $2,200?
$1,300.
So you would rather rent?
No, because it's cheaper.
So he'd rather rent because it's cheaper. Well, check this out. The first year, you save $900. The third year, you save $600. The fifth year, you save $400. You see what's happening here?
The mortgage is staying the same, but
The mortgage that you purchase was expensive back then, but it's going to stay the same rate for 30 years. Or 15, depending on the mortgage you get.
Okay, I'd rather have a house.
But he chose to rent. So right now, after 5 years, he's still saving money.
But it's like 10 years I'm not having, I don't know.
Say it one more time.
I'm gonna save more money for the mortgage in 10 years.
Now, in 10 years, the average rent was $2,400 and the mortgage is $2,200. Now you're behind $200.
No.
And then look at, by year 30, you're out $3,600.
No, I'm broke. I should have just done the mortgage.
Okay. Now, after 30 years and 1 month, the mortgage is zero, but yet we're still paying rent.
Dang. Wait, so just 30 years of mortgage and like you don't have to pay for the house anymore? Unless it gets like damaged?
Yeah, once you pay it. So,
Oh,
again,
that's sick.
the perks of renting are what?
It's cheaper at first, but then it gets more expensive.
Yeah, and you have no responsibility.
Oh yeah.
If something happens to it, you do not have to repair it. A mortgage, you have to repair it. So there's perks of owning a house. That's why we invest, right?
Yeah.
So with your hard-earned money, you invest in something, it's going to have some value at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there any questions I could possibly answer?
I don't got any questions.
Okay. This little,
Wait.
little news flash. You already know inflation is real.
Yeah.
And you may not see rent. Well, there was a time that my mom was renting this place for $8.95, and now it's $13.50.
Wait, $8.95?
Now it's $13.50. It's over 50%.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like $8.95. $895.
And turn it to, I think, like $13.50. That was almost a 50% increase.
Kind of, it's almost, yeah.
So again, we buy a mortgage if we're ready, but there is perks to owning a house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, go ahead and give your final thoughts, Sam.
I got one question.
Yep.
How come mortgage turns to $0?
Because usually after a mortgage, 30 years, that's the life of the loan.
Oh,
You agreed to pay $2,200 for 30 years.
okay.
And once it's paid off, it's paid off. There's other options like 15 years, but for most part, it's seeming like in this economy, people are going for 30-year mortgages more so than 15 these days. So that's why it ends.
Another question. How come rent goes up, but mortgage doesn't?
Oh, I thought you kind of know these. Okay, so when you sign a mortgage, it's a contract to pay the same payment over 30 years. So if you have a $300,000 loan, what it is a $300,000 loan plus the interest, and they do the mathematics and say, hey, I need you to pay $2,200 a month for 30 years to pay off the mortgage in full and to pay off the interest.
Okay.
That's why it's accumulated to that number.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
That's all my questions.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
Me?
Yep. So if you got money, what should you do with it?
Invest it.
Invest it or save it for a down payment of a house because we need to invest for our futures.
Yeah.
All right. Bring the camera.